Morning, guys. Hope you can hear me all right. Morning. Thanks, Gerard. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Feeling a bit this morning because I went for pub lunch and obviously had something to eat, but had a couple of beers as well. And I don't really drink during the week. Some do on a Friday or a Saturday, but not during the week. Feeling a bit today, to be honest. Yeah, just about survived it. Yeah. Morning. Just give it another few moments and we can get started. Hi, Fiona. Yeah. Okay. Good morning, guys. Like I say, 1:30. Let's get started. I do my normal thing in the morning, have a look through, check trades, check possibilities, etc. And I don't know about you guys who look through the stuff. I've never seen so much indecision in my life. Maybe it's like exaggeration, probably that, but I just can't see the final follow through. You can see it's a data. You can see that lack of follow through, popped up, down, popped up, down. You look just like that. It's actually very difficult because that really tells me, all of us, that the pros, the institutions, the social experts don't know what to make of the fundamentals, whether it's a negative or positive. They're frightened to push it up further, but they're still not thinking it's that negative. Conflicting stuff coming out. I made a statement about the state of the, get it the right way around, state of the union address. Right, it's nation over here, which is later on today, union in the USA, and nothing came out. There was anything at all, really. In fact, a lot of it was actually not quite true, to be honest. But that's part of the course. Maybe over here we'll get something on the energy problem. I don't know. But oh, by the way, yeah, just hope I don't get cut off. I've got quite a decent inverter, but it'd been off to about 2-3 this morning, and was scheduled to go off at 10, but it's been off for several hours. So I hope it holds out. If I suddenly lose it, nothing I can do about that. I'm being told it should last at least a day or so. I've got very little on except for the 2 screens, the internet, etc. So hopefully it'll last all the way through. So I'm just putting it out there, not to be frightened or whatever. Just if I lose it, it's not you, it's not me, it's the bloody Eskom. But yeah, thank you, Anne Marie. I just see no follow through. I see it like I always say. You get in the car and you sit there, and both sides, both people in the car can't make their mind up where they want to go. They want to go there or there, and they've got the engine on, and nothing's happening basically. So on that, trades, all right, we had a bit of a baddie with the euro, I must admit, and the AUD NZD. So we had some not so good ones there. I accept that. But just, when you think of the conditions, etc., out there, it's not been too bad. It's not been too bad. The dollar yen, thank goodness, has come into play. A lot of guys got a far better price than the actual signal price. Remember, if you get a better price than the signal, absolutely don't put a buy stop in or a sell stop in. Go in at market, you're getting a better price. And a lot of guys got in right about 130.80, right about that level. So they'll be smiling. Whatever, it's still too early to start playing around with the stop loss, but at least we're in profit. That's the bottom line. Wherever you got in, you should be in profit, unless you joined it very late and chased it. I don't know. But again, look at this daily chart. Look at that indecision. It's just battling to get going. It seems to be indecision all around, but at least we're in profit on that one. Just quickly go over the other one, NZD shares, very slow, but last I looked, it's not too bad. We got at 30, it's 36 at the moment. So remember, we got 30 at the buy, so it's 36 on the actual exit price. So it's gone up more than 6 pips, actually, about 10. But bottom line is it's slightly in profit. Nothing shooting the lights out, but hey, man, it's a dollar in profit than a dollar in, well, downside. Okay, so that's not too bad. I just want to quickly go over Brent. Brent's actually doing quite well. Brent's where it was, yeah, still doing quite well. We've got an 81.79, I think it was, round about that level anyway. Not exactly. Some guys might go slightly better, slightly worse, but whatever. I don't think anybody higher than 82, and even if you did, you're doing fine. So we're okay. We're about $3 in profit. Not your personal profit, $3 price wise up on Brent, which is doing okay. Yeah, we've had a couple of problems on there. Yes, correct. I'm not supposed to deal with it. If you do have a problem with that, you have to go to the live chat, tech support, and they'll probably pass you on to Jack. He's the admin guy. He sorts that out. But we've had a couple of issues. Not too bad my side, but I know 1 or 2 guys have had some issues out there. So he'll sort it out. I just want to clarify again. Remember, it's not always Quick Trade's fault. It's certainly not Stock Market College. Stock Market College got nothing to do with it. Quick Trade's a broker that uses MetaTrader 5, an international platform. I don't know how many, to be honest, but a heck of a lot of brokers use it. And the glitch comes on the platform. Quick Trade will apologize for whatever, but it's out of their hands. So sometimes they do some stuff away, but mostly it's actually the actual MT5 has been the problem. Okay, but as I say, this had on my side. So yeah, if you do go to the live chats and see what we got. As I mentioned quite many times, I might know a bit about trading, but I'm going to be chairman of the board of the IT or software section anytime soon. Yeah, I can play around the computer, but certainly not an IT man. Unfortunately, came in a bit late. Wasn't born to it. Okay, so there we are, Isabel. Right. So that's not too bad. Let's go through it. Brent's doing okay. Some guys, don't think many guys took it well. Some spend too much time in it, don't enter it now. Some guys took it around about the 1770. Put your stop up if you did go for it to at least a couple of bucks above your entry to protect yourself and let it drift along. Okay, GBP NZD, we'll cut to the chase on that one. Okay, right. Let's just get it going in first. Let's just crunch it a bit, see any clearer. It's still in the sell zone, which is no surprise there. I prefer the NZD to the GBP, so I'm no surprise there. Hallelujah, that you had light. Probably go off again in 20 minutes, but at least you've got it for a few minutes. Don't quite know what's happened there, but still. Right, so where was I? Yeah, very much a range trade. Yeah, it's about 100 pip range. It's not too bad a range. Always check, because it doesn't look much on there, does it? But it's actually, I thought about 50 pips, okay. About 100 pip range trade. So I'm pretty sure I know, but I'm not 100% with Gerard. But if you're looking for a trade, whether you missed it or not, yeah, we did. We had one. It hit the TP. We had a GBP NZD. We hit the TP. Clearly, it was a sell. We sold it around about the 50-day. Now, if you believe in a range trade, you might think of buying as a bounce. Technically speaking, it's in the sell zone, so it might be wiser to sell the rally. But having said that, it's been a hell of a long time it's been in that range. So I'm not negating, despite where those moving averages are, if you're looking to take maybe a range trade buy. Never mind about trend lines, Fibonacci's, support, well, support resistance, you see that clear in the range, or anything else involved. It seems to be, and it's been going in that range for a heck of a long time, probably around about, yeah, for about 3 months now. So I'm not negating a range trade. I'm not going to advocate it because it isn't a sell zone, but I'm certainly not against it. So the guy says, right, the excellent possibility of a range trade. I'm going to buy it. Fair enough. But remember, you are in the sell area. It might be more prudent to wait till it gets a little bit higher and then sell it down. Maybe it will break to the downside. I don't know. But from that point of view, like I repeat myself a bit, sorry guys, it looks like a possibly a range trade. Where would you put the stop if you took it? That's the point. So that's not going to work. It's too far away to make the risk reward worth it. So you've got to maybe look at a 4 hour. Let's see. Yeah, you'd have to have it somewhere down there to make it worth your while. Just below the round figure, maybe 189.90, something like that. It might break down, but anyway, it's a bit of a range trade. Anybody want to do the range trade? Fair enough. Okay, I'll look at that in a minute. Just a second, I want to write these down so I don't miss them. CHF. You're going to CHF as a sell, and you're going to do the Euro J. Excuse me a second, now I'll miss it. JPY as a buy. AUD USD. I'm a bit worried about the dollar. It doesn't seem really getting going. So probably going to agree with you, but I'm just worried about this lack of direction on it. Well, it looks a buy, okay. I'm not too sure about that. We might get a bit downside. We'll have a look in a minute. Okay, have I missed anybody there? Is it GBP? I'll discuss that now. Okay, so before we move on, anyone want to do a range trade on this? Yeah, okay, well, if you don't, you don't, fair enough. I'm a bit 50-50 on it, but I see the possibility there, okay. I won't be chasing it now. Dollar yen, I'll come to in a minute. We've got a trade out. We got it out yesterday. You should have received it actually as a buy. It's doing pretty well, but I won't be chasing it now. We got out at 14, but it came off a bit. A lot of guys got into a better price, which is in favor. Last I looked a few moments ago, 10 minutes before ago, it was in a profit. So yeah, I won't be chasing it now. But let's go back if I missed anybody here. Wait for a better price. Okay, well, let's go back in order. If you do want to do the range trade, tell me about it and have a look. Okay, next is CAD CHF, and that was Ken. Welcome back, Ken. CAD CHF. looked again this morning, the strategy room at 8:30, I think it was. I'm a bit iffy on it. What do you want to do with it? You want to sell it. Yeah, I take the idea of the sell. As you can see, always look at the candle. Never mind the names of it, fancy names. You can learn them all by heart if you like. But rather than, instead of learning all the names and showing how clever you are by knowing all the different names, rather understand what it's telling you. And that's telling you it's got to some resistance there, particularly powerful, is some there, and it's come down, but the buyers have come back in again. So it's trying to pop up, the sellers have come in. This is now a day chart. It's now nearly 10 hours old. It's not getting any momentum in either direction. The momentum probably, I agree with you, to be honest, the downside. I'm leaning towards that. But having said that, would I be selling it now? Not really, no. If the dollar bounced a bit, there's a good chance it might take the Canadian up with it. Yeah, so it's too iffy for me, direction-wise, to agree to a sell. I'm not sure I'd agree with the buy, actually, but I'm leaning towards the sell, but not good enough, nearly good enough to enough ticks in a row to put real money on it. I might not even put, actually, I think probably put demo money on it. But yeah, I wouldn't be chasing it now. Any comments on that? Remember, I put that out. I state my, you've already sold it, 68.52. Well, fair enough, I've become right. I'm just, as I say, I'm just putting my view on it. And I keep saying it's an opinion of view, because there's millions of people trading. I don't know. We haven't looked at, I don't know, US dollar, Japanese yen for 10 minutes. Where is it now? I haven't a clue. I have to look, because it moves around with the buyers and sellers. So I have to take a view. And my view is there's not enough follow through or anything there that would encourage me to go for it. That's my take. Anybody disagree, please say so, and we'll put stuff up. Look at the calculator. I'm quite happy with that. But I wouldn't have gone into it, Ken, no, personally. Indian said, we had one out, went wrong, didn't it? We had one out, I think it was a long. We want to sell it. And that was a trade, didn't go so well, I'm afraid. Okay, write it down. So we'll move on. If you want to come back to it, please say so. Euro JPY, if you particularly disagree or something, that's serious. That's great. We need opinions on it. Buy the Euro JPY. Well, we've had a bit of a disaster area. Close your ears on their funding, because Luki went in again. To say I remember responsible, I thought was another possibility at a lower price. Round about this when it came off, and we came all this way down. So maybe it's overcooked, maybe oversold, maybe buy it. And some guys went the second time and didn't do too well. So I think it's going to be some people fairly uncomfortable psychologically after being hit with the last trade we had out a couple of days ago, where we hit the stop loss, I'm afraid, both occasions. Now, is it worth buying now? Well, I call this, well, not I call it, we call this in the trade, it's had technical damage. It's gone from a fairly strong area to a fairly neutral. Now it's in a sell area. Would I be selling it now? No, I wouldn't. It's try to bounce up, look at that candle. Try to bounce down, look at that candle. Would I buy it now? I'll leave the damn thing alone. Not just because we got smacked last time. I've been doing it for a while. Might have been smacked last time, but this time it might be a good one. An analogy I use about golf: you bogeyed the last, doesn't mean say you won't birdie the next one. You birdie the last, doesn't mean say you won't birdie the next one. You might even bogey it. You know what I mean? I would go for it even if I lost it last time round, if I saw a possibility. With the information I have there, I don't think I would be touching it at all. It makes sense. Was it slightly positive? Let's just check it again. Was it Euro or was it Germany? It was Euro, beg your pardon. That's the German CPI in the Eurozone, okay? Not as far as I'm concerned, it's slightly negative. I've just came out at 9, 8.7. I've got prepared 8.9. It's slightly negative CPI, which is counter-inflationary. Should, in theory, given the euro strength, it sounds a bit back to front. But the CPI is lower. It means it's lack of inflationary, which in theory could help you. Actually, no, it might not help. It actually might be a bit negative, the euro, because they say, right, it's working our strategy. So it might even weaken the euro a bit. But whatever, it's not enough, and it's Germany. It's not the entire zone. No, I don't. More I look at it, more I try to see something there, the more I think leave it alone. I hate to say it. I looked through today, but just be prepared for this session. Unless something radical comes out of interest, ain't much happening. That candle you see there seems to be part of the course. Okay. Yeah, leave it alone. Okay. Right. Sorry about that. That's how I feel. If you disagree, fair enough. Now you want to buy the NZD USD. The USD is very iffy. I'm not so much worried about the New Zealand dollar. I'm more very, very iffy about the actual US dollar. It doesn't seem to know whether it wants to strengthen or weaken components. It's just very much a sideways range. Look at that range now. We're on the daily again. Look at that range there. So top of the range, try to move higher, nothing happened, off it came. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm sounding hell of a boring, bit cluck cluck chickenish, we used to say in the room here. Yeah, I'm just saying, what would happen to currency pairs, say, for example, dollar yen? So there's nowhere Japan has to go to because the yen get virtually, look, not half, it goes to war, not half yet. War is incredibly expensive. One of the reasons, just to go off the subject a bit, one of the reasons why the First World War lasted longer than it actually did is the losing side had to pay reparations because most, again, was borrowed money. Most of the Americans might have. But anyway, it's incredibly expensive. And you know, like France, Belgium, Britain, etc., would have to go and do very unpopular measures to pay off those reparations, that debt, basically. And nobody wants to do that because, you know, it sounds selfish, but power's power, and you want to maintain it. You voice that in your voters, will be an uprising. So they fought on with all the extra loss of lives simply because neither side clearly wanted to pay it. In the end, the armistice happened to be in favor of the France and whatever, UK, etc., etc. So look what happened afterwards. The Treaty of Versailles, where it banged those reparations on Germany. And what happened? It went incredible inflation, like $1 billion marks to the dollar or whatever, and you know, carrying around, you know, the story of carrying around a basket full or a barrel full of currency to buy a loaf of bread and all that. Hell of a thing, and the rise of Adolf Hitler. And look what happened there, going to the Second World War. So yeah, war is very expensive, clearly. It would have a very damaging effect. But probably on both sides, on dollar as well, because Japan's a big economy and everyone's affected by it. You know, we buy their products. It would be hectic, yeah. We don't need that right now. We've got enough problems on our plate. Rather move on from there. Okay, I don't see a buy or sell on this one. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Big, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Let's cluck together, yeah. Okay, so yeah, US oil. Rather use 10B, you can use it if you like, but rather use the names that we have on MT5. That's an MT4 expression there. US oil normally means WTI, and Brent is usually UK oil. So we'll stick with what we've got on our platform here. Okay, but I'll put it down in a minute to look at WTI. I wouldn't be chasing it now before we go any further. Someone said AUD as a long, someone said, I'll be interested. This is interesting. AUD NZD as a short. Somebody wants to buy it and somebody wants to sell it. Somebody put two together. On that one, let's go back to that one. I think I might have missed it. Oh yeah, AUD USD. No, yeah, AUD NZD. No, I wrote down the wrong thing there. Sorry, beg your pardon. It was an AUD USD. Beg your pardon. It wasn't AUD beg your pardon. Okay, AUD USD will go back in order again. Pretty much the same opinion I have on the NZD. I think you guys want to buy it. I wouldn't do either. I take your points in the buys there, and I quite hear you on that one. But it's no focus. Look at yesterday's candle, look at the day before, no follow through at all. The dollar could continue to strengthen. Jobless claims coming out again after 3. It could affect it, probably will do. Almost certainly will do. It's hovering around about 103. Sorry, guys, I'm like a stuck, boring old record here. Leave it alone. Anyone disagree? Anybody see a buy on this one, as Morrissey advocates? You took a buy, well, I hope you come right. But I wouldn't. I have no idea when gas had cut up before we got on Dengue. I haven't the slightest clue. I thought we'd probably up was about 4 or 5. I don't know what it's doing down there. And even at 275, some of the guys took a trade on it about a week or so ago, and it's been gliding lower than that. I haven't got a clue. Honestly, NGAS, if you want to do it, do it on your own back. I cannot offer any value on it. No idea why it's down there. I know about Qatar having more supply, but it's not endless. It's got to have some value somewhere, but it doesn't seem to have found it yet. I would personally chat to somebody else about it. I'm not going anywhere near it. I can't offer any value on that. All right. Yeah, AUD I'm really not keen. If you're in, well, good luck. Good luck. The jobless claims come out fairly inflationary. Whichever side they tended was lower. I'm expected. I don't know. Actually, I'm getting confused myself on that now. It could be a strength or a weakness. I don't know. I'm for that reason I'm leaving this alone. I cannot say. I think I like this trade. I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't touch it. If it goes up, I hope you're right. It goes up. Good luck if you're long. If you're short, well, then I hope for your sake it goes down. I don't know which side to pick. You know what I mean? Sorry, it's sound boring. That's the way it is. AUD Well, there's somebody out there with a sell. I've got 2 guys there with a okay, AUD We had a buy the other day. It didn't go right. Now it's coming off. Okay, remember we had this something like a buy and to take it further up. I think it was about there. We took it. When was it? The bottom line is the buy was not the right call. The sell was like it seems to be a better look at the moment. Is that going to continue? Is the name of the game? I'd rather be honest. I'd rather do this in the AUD or NZD USD as a short. But my little bit problem with that is seem to have a bit of if you're going short, remember that line below there is resistance, not support. Seem to be battering to get through that resistance of this line here. It's not that great a resistance either as we speak. There is some. Anything along here? A little bit around these levels of resistance. And let's go and zoom in a bit. And you can see some buyers holding. The 10 seems to be holding. The magenta lines, the 10-day moving average, seems to be holding. I'm not that confident, sorry. I'm leaning towards the short. I hear you. To be honest, I'm not saying you're wrong, far from it. I'm leaning towards that thinking, but not enough momentum or confidence to take my money out of my pocket and buy it on there. And if I weren't, I'd be going to be highly ethical to recommend you guys to do it. You know what I'm saying? It is the anyway. Google, yeah, Google did well. We're in Google. That's doing okay. Just go through the other stuff first before we go and look at those. GBP, we mentioned that. We had one. That's right. To hit the. No, I'll come back to that. Remember, hit the TP. That was a good trade. WTI. Use something else. WTI. I will be chasing it here. I've been concentrating more on Brent. No particular reason. I just have. The oil was slightly different prices. You get fixated on, let's say, 85, and you suddenly look at the under. It's got to think a bit. But they're both oil. If you like WTI, I'd rather do that. Don't do both. It's up to you. But I suggest you don't do both. Pick one and get used to it. I've been looking at Brent more, so most of the ideas we're going out on Brent. But WTI is similar, just slightly different figures. I don't know what you want to do with it, but we've got a trade already in oil, as in Brent, and it's doing pretty damn well at the moment. Stick with that. I wouldn't be chasing it down. Okay. On that subject, wanted to go back, and you should want to look at gas.
Oh Jesus! What happened?
Was that to me, or was that what was that? Was that private or someone talked to me then?
Sounds
No.
private, my friend.
Okay, thanks. She's gone quiet, so I won't do it. Yeah, thanks, fine. I would touch it as a 10-foot disinfected barge pole, to be honest. I wouldn't touch with your money, never mind mine, how that. But it's up to you. If you think it's overcooked, do it. If it's more downside, you do it. Oh, yeah, no problem, okay. All right, you want to anything else? I'll cover most of the stuff. Boring, I know, but I'd rather be bored and have the money in my pocket than excited and lose it. Okay. Where were we? You want to look at what was it on Google? Let's go to the shares. Apple. Let's just go through quickly. Oh, here we are. Apple 152.15. It didn't hit the stop. 160 was the stop. So guys who took that trade should still be in it, and you're in a slight. That's not too bad. Microsoft hit the stop loss 265. We'll get the Google. Just want to do that one quickly. That is a bit of a negative. Let's jump to it. Yeah, hit the stop loss up there. Well, way through it. I think we're setting up for the sell. I know we lost last time, but I think we can make it back this time around. But we'll see what happens on opening. Google. Yep, that seems to be doing okay. We got a 103.75. So that's what $4.50 per share in profit. Pretty damn good. Okay, so that at least is going the right way. Let's go to Nike. We've got a 124.50. Gave us a bit of jip, but it's now doing okay. We're $2 in profit. That's just under $2 US in profit. Okay, just under $2 in profit. So that's looking okay. Oracle. We got in at 89.10. That's what about just under 2.5 US in profit. That's not too bad. Schwab not so good, I'm afraid, but don't stick with it. I think it'll still come right. I hope so anyway. It's $1 to the downside, but let's see if we get some traction in a positive way today. Hopefully it will come off. We shall see. Okay, unless you're stopped out. Stop at 81.91. I think you guys might. Anyone stopped out in this one? Quite a tight stop, 81.90. I think you guys might have been stopped out this thing. I thought it might come right. What a pity fight. Been a tough week, eh? Damn, put a line through there. Okay, so it's only $2 a share, so everyone overexposed. Pity. Still liked it, and I still think the division was correct. But look at that indecision yesterday. But anyway, I wouldn't play around with it again. We tried it, didn't we? Okay, so we are. You're still in Tomby. In this case, I think lucky you, because I think it will come off, but we'll see. I can't make a call there. I still rather be on the down than the upside. I would rather be a short seller on this than a buy. Okay. I've got one written down as a buy an AUD JPY around about 91. I don't know who guys took that. I've got it written down, so some guys must have taken it. AUD JPY, slightly in profit. So that's in a profit. Oracle's in a profit. Apple's in a profit. Google and Nike in a profit. Microsoft knocked out. And unfortunately, looks like Schwab for most have been knocked out, but some still in it. So yeah, it's not pretty on some, but some of the others are not too bad. Okay, S&P and UI. Did you take the US dollar at the rand? Anybody take it yesterday? Did very well indeed, in fact, hit the TP. So anyone who took the dollar rand would have hit the TP. Did you take it, Fahmy?
Yes, thank you. And I was looking on trying to take it again. What's your feeling?
You took it and you hit the TP. Are you still in it? Or did you hit the TP?
Hit the TP, sir.
Okay, that's fine. Leave it alone. Okay, that's great. That's great. I thought it'd been a possibility going to 18, but don't chase it now. That's great. It might have a bit of a pullback. We shall see. Yeah. But hey, well done. Those who took it, hit the TP. That's some good news. That's great. But I wouldn't be chasing now. That's my view. Do you want to leave in your hands? Okay. The goal I mentioned, you should be in profit on that and modify to stop accordingly. Now what's happening here? The yen's decided to come off now. It's doing so well. It's up at 83 earlier on today. Anybody take profit or modified and got modified the profit? Because 83 is quite a distance from earlier on today. Anybody out took the profit, or are we still in it?
Still in it. Yeah,
Still in it.
negative.
Yeah, well, because it was doing good earlier on. Look at that, hit the high of well, about 80, somewhere around there. Oh, you took profit. I think some guys would. Well, see how that works out. Okay, but it was doing just nice until about 20 minutes ago. But that's what I'm saying. The up and down really driving everyone crazy. S&P. Okay, we took one out there in the S&P at 45, 42,228. So that everyone should still on the day. Yeah, everyone should still be in that and took it. We're slightly negative, but it's not a disaster. It might come right. Slightly longer term with a wide stop at TP. Let's see if we can get something out of that. Okay, so I've run through the whole gamut of it, and some are doing pretty good, and some are jumping around aimlessly. Yeah, so let's see if we can keep our fingers crossed with the open trader at the moment. I haven't got really anything to add as regards any new trades at all. Went through myself this morning, went through the strategy room, done a little bit here as well. I haven't got anything at the moment. I'm jumping on. I was hoping for maybe the CHF JPY, but not good enough, so I left it. This one I was hoping for maybe getting a buy, but it's tried to break above. Look, the sellers came in. I still think there's a possibility of upside on this one. Maybe around about the 142 or a bit better for a bit of upside, but it's just, look at that candle. Look at that candle. Totally directionless. So I'm sorry, guys. That one, even that's about the best one I looked at, but even that I'm not confident on. So yeah, we can try and get some value by our Q&A if you like, discuss other possibilities. But please, you got one. Let's look at it with pleasure. We'll jump to that immediately. But yeah, I can't find anything. I'm confident to say this looks pretty damn good. And yeah, I'm still reading a bit for the last 2 or 3 trades. I haven't gone right either. Even though it wasn't totally, if you're honest, not jumping out of the responsibility, it wasn't totally my fault. The market behaving very strangely in certain ways. But yeah, don't forget jobless claims coming out later on. I'm just going to check the Euro, the economic calendar. We've got 11:45 Treasury Committee, not that big. Euro Leaders Summit, some 12 o'clock might be something there. The major one is 2:30 is the jobless. And then tomorrow, quite a few on the GBP, the GDP on the GBP tomorrow. And nothing on the US tomorrow, makes a pleasant change. So yeah, it's apart from jobless claims, there's nothing particularly major coming up, so that's fine. I'm not sure what's going to happen to the market. Still think we're waiting for clarity. Are we recession, or is it leading towards the economy getting a bit better? I think it's delusional. I think I don't see much bright side on the horizon there. And listen to that State of the Union. Keep getting nation union on right way around. Right, wrong way around. State of the Union just yesterday, what Biden came out with was basically more half-truths. Maybe downright lies might be a bit over the top, but certainly half-truths. Employment's looking better. Yeah, as if he's traded. No, he hasn't. Guys come back to work from COVID, that sort of thing. But yeah, he's taking credit, obviously, for a sales pitch to get votes and get support for stuff that have got actually squat to do with him. Which is certainly not particularly my ethical, but when ethical and politics be in bed together anyway. But yeah, so sorry guys, if you want a Q&A, you can do it. I'll go through a few things I normally do, is copy and paste for you the economic calendar for those who don't have it, just in case there's somebody new here. Copy and paste it, so at least you got access to it. It's that easy. Just do the dollar index as well, we call the DXY. There we are. I'm just going to put my name now. I've mentioned it before, so bear with me if I mention it again every single time. There are guys coming in. If you got below 500 Rand, I can't assist you. This is too little. If it's a demo account, I can't assist you. If you've got 500 more, you can take the number down. If you've got 2.5 grand or 150 US dollars, depending on your account or more, you just let me know and you'll upgrade you to the group, the VIP group as we call it, or the QT group or whatever. What do you get of that? You'll get daily morning updates, but more to the point, you'll get more signals, unless there's no signals coming out. Murray, give me a moment. There's no point sending a whole herd of signals to guys who got little money because they wouldn't be able to take them. So yeah. So you got one of them yesterday, and the US dollar yen was sent to the guy with 2.5. If in the trading, it doesn't matter. If you got 1 or 1 million, irrelevant. You can take any signal coming out here because it's been discussed. Okay, so if you do want to be uploaded to the VIP group, please, I beg you, give your details. In other words, your full name, not say, hi, this is Joe in the trade room, can you upload me? That's not good enough. I don't know who Joe is. So you've got to say it's a Joe Blogs, and it's 181625, whatever the real account number is. That's the easiest, and quickly check it out. Upload it in WhatsApp group and take it from there. Okay, right, GBP NZD, as mentioned before, it hit the TP. That was a nice one. Don't know what you want to do with it. Do you want to chase it now? Euro AUD, might be right with Euro AUD. We got smacked on the long last time. Anybody want to chase it at these levels for a short here? Yeah, we've got load shedding again. It's come back off again. Okay, anyone want to chase this for a short? You put your stop up here, right? That's 130 pips away. Take it down to here. Won't cut it. You've got to put the weekly to get a TP to make it worth your while. For this, that's a fundamental. If there was one here, that's you might. Yeah, you'd have to take the TP down to here to squeeze it, unless you put the stop loss on the 4 hour. That's only 2 hours old, so I have to put up here. You're looking about a 90 pip stop. And then that's not going to cut it. Yeah, you might squeeze it down there. Yeah, if you want to do that, it's got to get through this guy here first. You probably get from a body language, guys. I'm not keen. I'm not keen to chase here. The short, I totally agree. We've got a short at last time. I'll do it again, but I want a better price. Bottom line. I'm sure if you get here, absolutely. It goes back 100 pips up there. I wouldn't. It might bounce. I hope it does, but I wouldn't buy the bounce. You're going against a strong downtrend. So just I would leave that alone. But if it does bounce to those levels there, I would definitely set it down again. Okay. EURAUD. Let's do that one first. You want to short it now, do you? Must have Milestone. You've done some quite brave trades and done quite well out of them. So no problem if you want to do that. But I wouldn't. I'll tell you why. It's come down to support. It's been a bit of a range. I personally think I think get a bounce here actually. I think personally speaking, you might get a bounce here. What's the distance? Yeah, I think we could get a 60 pip bounce. Not enough meat on the bones for me to trade it. Not enough there, but I think possibly a bounce. If it comes back here and comes off, different story. Then you put the stop up here somewhere and take it down here. No, I'd be more of a green, but I wouldn't be chasing it. Personally speaking, that's my opinion. Okay. Happy with that, Morris? That's my opinion, or if you disagree, entirely up to you. Anybody look at this is a short from here at market? I wouldn't, as I say. I'm afraid to say that's probably the best comment of the lot. Let's see what the trading gods today. Yeah, I think it's more in the lap of the trading gods at the moment. I can't give you any sort of rational human a scientific response. Other than that, I would leave it alone. Okay, Mike, good enough. Right, the Euro GBP for a long. You want to sell the pound? That's not a bad idea. Not that keen on the pound. Yeah, hang on. Who came up with this one? Oh, Timby. Hang on. What do we have here? That doesn't look too bad, does it? What do you think, guys? That doesn't look too bad. I know what you're going to say, and I'd agree with you. Look at that wick on the buy side. Look at that indecision. I hear you, big time. Let's try the 4 hour. The buyers are coming in there. Let's go back to let's try the weekly quickly. Weekly could be a bit more downside, but hang on a minute. On the daily alone, that indecision is a bit of a niggle, a bit of a fly in the ointment. But otherwise, I think that's not a bad possibility. I do quite like the euro. I'm afraid I'm pretty negative on the pound. I think the figures come. Don't forget the whole GDP, monthly, quarterly, yearly, whatever, coming out tomorrow. Just bear that in mind. It might help or negate the pound. That's a bit of again, that's a trading goal. Which way it's going to go from there, I can't tell. But outside that, of what we've looked at today, that seems about the best option by far as a possibility upside. That's why I say I like the trading room because it does. We miss stuff from someone else. You've got 50 people looking into it. You should be able to. Some guys might see something we've missed. That's about the best option I've seen. It's not the trade of the century. I don't like that wick. Otherwise, if once that damn wick, I'd say we've got something here. Support seems to be holding. Let's try it out and see if we get some more confirmation. Not really on that one. Not really on the 4 hour. Okay, I'm going to wind this up. Like it, Tembi, thanks very much. But I'm going to personally wait for a bit of confirmation. If we get a bit higher, I'm not going to panic on that. If we get it there, we still put the stop down here somewhere, get a decent risk reward up to there. Just make sure we got it. There's enough upside there to look for more confirmed buy rather than jumping in now. But otherwise, thanks. That's about the best we've seen. But I'm still going to just hang back a bit on it. Anybody else got an opinion on that? Give me a second. Any opinions on that one? You think it's worth the risk of going in now, or should we just wait for confirmation? And tomorrow, finally, is another negative. Yeah, we've got those coming out tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, so we'll wait on that. But thanks. In fact, I'm going to put that down to keep an eye on. Some possibilities on that. Trouble is, the fundies come out. You know what I mean? It could affect it, and then it's too late to chase it either way. That's the problem. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on it.
Maybe revisit this afternoon and see what's happened.
I think a better idea. Would seem a better idea. Because this is a day chart for the 4 hour. Yeah, a bit more action. We could maybe take it and then jump out again if we have any problems by tomorrow. We'll see anyway. We'll have another look this afternoon. Yeah, this is definitely a possibility. I've got it written down. Thanks for that. Okay. See you at 4 then, Brady. Good stuff. Have a less entertaining meeting. Yeah. Yeah. Can't even think of any funny jokes to tell you. Okay, right. Boring, I know, but that's the best I can say. Right, any Q&As? Any guys there? Doesn't matter if you're new or more experienced, doesn't really matter. Just want to ask something. And you know me, if I don't know, it might be embarrassed. I should know, but I won't try and sort of BS my way out of it. If I don't, I'll say so. But if I do, clarify it. And yeah, there might be some guys there who are just not sure why, where, or what. We can do it because the things we can address and control, we must be in control of. We don't want to lose out because of things we can control. The markets are tough enough to deal with at times without having the wrong position or not knowing why, where, or what. Okay, I've mentioned before, if you want to look at the margin or any information on that specific instrument, and these are all called financial instruments or securities, if you like. Yeah, you just left click, right click on specifications. Sorry, wrong way around. Do it now. Sorry, highlight it, right click, and then left click on specification. That's right around. Yeah, that'll give you the contract size, and it'll give you the margin, etc. So it'll give you that information there. Don't forget, if you want to know what margin like that, you get the information there. If you don't know what that information means, that's another story. Then, well, you can ask here or we can ask in classes, but you've got to know that. And I've mentioned Gerard a few times. It worries me that the lack of, shall we say, arithmetical, maths a big word, ability over here is not good. A big article I read about teachers not being good enough to teach and all that sort of thing, because it is so important. I listened to the 10 to 30-year-old quiz they have in the mornings. And these are bright youngsters, these, but amazing, the basic arithmetic they're not getting and what they come out with. They're just not getting it. And unfortunately, it's nice to know Mongolia's in Asia, not in bloody Africa. That's all very nice. But if you can't do basic arithmetic, that's far, far more important. It's, right, reading and writing might be slightly more important, sure, but it's second to that. And you've got to understand the maths behind it, what that contract size means, what is margin, what is leverage, how do you find out what the leverage is? This is stuff that's important you need to know. Okay. Okay, I understand that one, Dealey. I'm worried mine. I've been load shedding all bloody morning since the early hours, from unscheduled that is, and then it came on just before 10 o'clock, and then it's kicked out again on the scheduled 10. So I've got a pretty powerful inverter, but I just don't need it to the last. If it doesn't, we lose it, we lose something I can do about that. But yeah, it's a worry. And the other thing is I'm addicted to my cups of tea in the morning. I'm Manchester Avenue. So if I'm a bit irritable, it's because my hit from my cups of tea haven't been about. Okay, so yeah, Euro GBP we discussed. Oh, that's right. We discussed that at least for the moment. So yeah, oh, and the other one I always try to mention is to remind, please save your charts. Quite simple. Right click on the blank part of your chart screen and then go to templates and clearly save it. If you lose your charts, all you do is you go to your template again and you'll see the various ones you saved down there. Pick the one you like and your charts are up and running. Very important. If you like the way your charts are set up, keep it uncluttered, that's fine. If you want to change anything on it, right click, go to properties, and it'll give you the example there and you can chop and change. I prefer a white background, a lot of guys prefer a black background. Doesn't really matter, it's personal choice. Set it as you seem comfortable. As long as you can read it very quickly. You don't be peering at it, it's so clear you know what's going on. Indicators I don't use very much, you well know, but I'm not against them. If you like them, put them on. If you like that particularly, you can leave it there. If you're putting 2 or 3, once you've read what they give you, you can knock them off because you want to be looking at a chart that's giving you quick information. You don't spend 20 minutes trying to find it and then find you're wasting your time, move on because you didn't go to another one and now it's the ship has sailed, if you get my point. So try and get that. Those sort of things we can control. The DXY, I've given you the link. Economic calendar, you need to know what's happening because that affects the share price. Never mind the technicals will overcome that. You've got it, it's there at your fingertips and I posted it for you. Okay, now why do you think somebody asked or whatever, what's the NASDAQ doing? Popping up for the moment, it's totally in a range, doesn't know whether to go further up or down. I'm leading on the downside, but still wouldn't trade it for the moment. Our US dollar yen, holding at 131, thank goodness, it's trying to move back up. But it's a lot of this at the moment is just sort of like up and down, almost crystal ball gazing. But that's what I say, the fact we've got a few good ones out, I can think to say, it's not me, I'm asking the trading room, it's quite an achievement. Because this is when it's direction like this, it's toughest. Bull market, no problem. Bear markets, I suppose it's nice to have a bull and a bear, sure. But from a trader's perspective, no problem. You've got a direction. When you haven't got a direction, it's a nightmare. I wouldn't be chasing it now. We'll look at silver, we'll do gold first. I wouldn't be chasing it now. No. Fund is going to affect it so much. It's been direct in this last couple of days. We've already got one out in the trade room anyway. at 1870. Came off a bit and it went up. So if you're in that trade, we've had out 2 or 3 days now. Make sure you modify your stop to you protect any profit there. Not too close, maybe 70, 74 or something like that. At least then you're losing the trade, it's above your entry. But chasing it now, buy or a short, no. It's too iffy at the moment, like most of the market. Probably the same on silver, because it's very similar in movement. Don't forget, contract size on gold is 10. On silver, to show you what I mean, it's 500. And some brokers have 1,000. A lot of brokers have gold as 100 contract. So you go in 0.1 on gold, and this broker, it's equivalent at 1.0 because it's 10 times the size of the contract. So it says like the risk is 100 Rand a mini. If you put a mini on other brokers, you've got to check the contract size. It'd be like 1,000 Rand a mini. So you must check the contract size. A lot of guys even have 100 on the Nasdaq and 1,000 contract on the oil instead of 100. So always check the contract size before you jump in. So make sure, because guys often have different brokers, and they'll sort of get a piece and go to, it's 100 Rand a micro, but it could be 1,000 Rand a micro on another broker, or even less than others. And yet some guys have nano accounts, which appears complete wasting everyone's time. Stories. But coming back to that, silver is 500, like I mentioned, which is 500 times 22 per contract, which is what's that, about 5,000. That's about 11,000 US dollars, don't forget, for 1.0. Contract's 1.0. Obviously, a mini will be divide that by 10. That's the exposure. Hope you know what I mean by that. And divide again by 10 for a micro. And bottom line, the spread is as well. Different in the bid and ask or buy and sell price. So at the moment, it seems to be creeping up. I give you that, but was that confident enough to buy in these directions? All right, I'll put it another way. Do I see upside on both? Yes, I do. Do I see gold getting to well, not silver, gold getting to 2,000? Yes, I do. But there seems to be a lot of jumping around in the meantime, which is making a bit nervous. And on top of that, we've got to gold trade out anyway for the trade and what to send out to the people out there. Okay, so long-winded way of saying leave it alone, my opinion. But this is the big but. If you see a confidence going to go back there, and you then put on the weekly, if you want to put a wide stop in and you can afford it, that's too far. It's $11. Yes, $1. Sorry. If you want to put a stop down there somewhere and take a TP up there, you might squeeze it, but it might take a bit of a while to do it. Same on gold. Let's go back to gold. More familiar with that. Trading silver, not very much. Gold I'm far more familiar with, so rather choose gold unless you particularly want to do silver. Where you put the stop down here somewhere. That's like $60, isn't it? Shoot, into rubbish there. Yeah, $82. That's too far away. Put it down here. We're talking about over. Talk about a $35 stop loss. Take it up here. In fact, maybe take the 2,000, which gives you over $100 TP, and then sit in that for a while. Hope the fundies don't kick you in the backside, and that might achieve it. Might be next week or next month. I don't know, but I do see 2,000 on the card. But if you haven't got the money, why tie it up? Now you can't trade because you haven't got enough free margin. So putting that together, make it what you will. I'd say leave it. Okay, any comments? Okay. All right. Yeah. Any Q&As, anything you want to look at? We look at shares, anything. It's so quiet at the moment as what's happening. Yeah, wait, yeah. We can look at any questions. Dirk, Yulan, any questions? Anything you're not sure of? You've got the stuff we've been talking about. Need to run over something again when we talk about margin call. Free margin level must be 80% or above. What it is about. We talk about derivatives or leverage trading. You all know what we're talking about. You should do. If you're trading, you should know. If you trade without that knowledge, you could come back and bite. Because it's new, it sounds difficult. because it's new, but it's not. It's certainly not university degree stuff. But you still got to be aware of it. Okay, brilliant. That's good to hear. That's the sort of news I like. NZD-CHF, where's that trade? We got a TP at 59. We got a pretty tight TP if it's there. Because according to me, a TP we got out in yesterday's trade is 59.41 up here somewhere. Right about there, so it's still a bit of way to go. But anyway, in fact, it's hardly moved actually, so I'm not quite sure you come from that. Because we got in here, unless you got a better price at 57 something, we got it at 58.30. Well, not we got in, but that's a trade signal to that 58.30. So it's in profit, but it's nowhere near the TP, according to my figures here. Another question a lot of people ask, how long are you in the trade? No, nobody knows. Look at these different candles. You know, let's look at the NASDAQ. Look at that candle compared to this candle. Could be in a day, could be in a week, who knows? You got you're putting the fifth figure, which might be confusing you. Try and ignore the last decimal point, because that's a point, it's not a pip. We're after pips. You only worry about points if you've got a multi-million-dollar account, because then it counts. But otherwise, no. So if you got in at 58.25, ignore the 6, and your TP is at 58.50, you're looking basically for a 25 pip movement. Where's your stop? 15 pips? Too tight. You know what I'm saying? Where is your stop, by the way? Don't want to say, maybe I haven't got one. Okay, but that's too tight. Okay, Euro JPY, we mentioned that somewhere back. That's a week. I thought it was strange. No, we discussed earlier on, Ken. No, it's look at the sellers came in immediately, came down, buyers, complete decision, 10.5 hour candle, no movement there. Technical damage from the buyish zone, neutral sell zone down here. It's not confirmed the downside. It's not confirmed the upside. No. If I had to do it, I'd on the upside. I agree, Ken. You said right, Roger. Which side do you lean, a short or a long? Never, not ignoring the LIA. I'm leaning toward probably a bit of upside, but nowhere near good enough to put money on. That's just what I think. No evidence to say. 0.5830. It's far too close. I'm leaving that alone, Ken. Let's go back to this one again. It's far too close. You can get knocked out. What was it? GBP? What was it? GBP CHF? Was it? What was it? NZD CHF. You got your stop now at 58.30. That's 8 pips away. Noise can knock you out. If you're going to put 8 pips, you might as well take the profit now if there's any profit there. It's pointless because then you say, right, I'm up 100 rand, put the stop loss at 90. Well, you might just take 100 rand because you more than likely will get knocked out at 90. Not saying you will. You know, you might not get back 580, 5830, 9 pips away. It's far too close. You shouldn't really get your stop close than 20 when you're modifying it in a nice profit. And when you enter, let's say you entered now and you're up 30 pips. That is the borderline to start modifying, preferably 40 pips to start putting your stop up. Otherwise, it'll come back, knock you out. You made no money on it, and it goes up and achieves the target. Then you made no money on a winning trade. Next one's a losing trade, and you take full loss because it's just stop loss, and that target has been hit. You see what I mean? I know it's all psychology. You want to protect, getting close, protect. You don't want to see that red come up. But then you're taking 10 rand, 10 rand, 10 rand, 10 rand. You have 4 winning trades, 40 rand. The next one, you lose 40 rand. Just an example here. It hits your stop loss. You won the 3 or 4, you lost on 1. and you're losing money. You know, you've got to give the trade a chance. That's why I have a stop loss to protect it. Always remember, when you go in, you've got the position size calculator. Remember, it's not for shares, only for any BAT shares, and you have it for a reason. So let's say you can afford to lose, I don't know, use the word units. I can afford to risk 50 units, could be dollars, doesn't really matter, 50 units, right? Put in your head, 50 units is gone. You can afford to lose it, that's your attitude. Anything better than that's cherry on the top. But otherwise, you're going to find very, very common, everybody, not to beginners, everybody, is they're winning far more than they're losing. They're getting good trade signals, they're getting trade ideas, we discussed them here, but not making any money because they're taking profit far too quick, but they're running their losses. Very important. That's what you need here. It's not difficult to learn the basics of this. You need your PhD basically in the area of psychology more than anything else. That's what we should sell in psychology courses, because that's usually the biggest enemy. Not just in the industry, but everything. Mistakes we make are usually for psychological, emotive reasons. Like going to Vegas, getting drunk, and wake up the next day married. Who are you? I'm your wife. What? Who are you? I'm your husband. Oh my goodness, what do I do? Okay. Anything else, guys? Only up to 10. We can go some stuff if you find anything that's worth looking at. We'll check our open trades at the moment. We've got that in, it's doing okay-ish. Is the yen doing okay? No, it's not. Go on, Ken.
No, with the euro, JPY, I wanted to get out, you see, because now I can see the news are not looking good. 35% is only buying, and I'm in a buy. 65, they're saying it's a sell.
Yeah, it could come off further. Be careful. I know a lot of these guys say, sorry, go, Ken, go on.
Yeah, but now I'm in a small profit. I just wanted you to work out the cost of going in and out, so I'm on a safe boat.
Okay, right. The cost is on a spread is the spread. So ideally, really should be on a spread account. The reason being is when you go in on a long, you get this figure, and you get out of that. So you'll immediately see some red. The beauty is when it goes into the blue, let's say 80 goes to 84, you'll see blue. You know that blue is net to you. If you're on the commissions, you don't know. So you made 20 rand, for argument's sake, and you close it, and you didn't realize it cost you 40 rand in commissions to do it in the first place. And that stuffs the system up. So you should know if you're on a spread account, it'll just say blue, that's net to you. It's only 1 cent net to you. Okay. But yeah, going back to what you said, a lot of these guys say, you know, who's long and who's short, who's going to sell, who's going to buy on something. So let's say 35% on the sell on a long, and 65, shall we say, on the sell. And I'm not sure I go take much notice of that. I've seen too many times where people have gone on that basis. In other words, gone with the herd, and the herd's often wrong. Remember, as I mentioned many times here, since COVID, it's multiplied a horrendous amount, the amount of people coming to this market, because it's cheap. We've got the technology, so everyone now can afford a proper laptop and a phone to make use of it. Internet costs have come flying off. You think it's expensive. Try to look at it 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, very expensive then. So people, you know, can work from home, attracts a horrendous amount of people coming in, not horrendous, but a large amount, that's the wrong word. But the problem is a large amount of those are doing more emotion and strategic trading, and that can warp your figures. So be careful what the herd's doing. Herds are often wrong. In fact, there's actual serious traders called contrarian traders. And that's not a joke. Serious people trade. They watch what the herd do and do the opposite. Remember, the herd are usually poor. Very few are rich, so maybe not a bad idea. Everyone else is doing this. It's probably a good reason to avoid it. But that's just by the way.
Okay, thanks, mate.
Okay, fair enough then, Ken. I can't really add more than that. The volume was 0.04, that's 4 micro. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, because you got to cut a bit more, Tom. You meant to go 0.4 and you made 28 bucks instead of 280. If I'm on the right track, yeah. You know, that's why I say, don't forget Sod's Law. You know, it's frustrating. You went in too small, it's a winning trade. You made a mistake the other way around, went too big. That's the bloody losing trade. I don't know why that is, but it's definitely Sod's Law. You know? Very frustrating if you put in the wrong figure and you grossly underexposed rather than overexposed, and it was a beaut. You made 100, you could have made 1,000. Very irritating. But I think still less irritating. You made 100, you win 1,000 by mistake into the losing trade. That'd be slightly worse. But yeah. I know sometimes you rush, you get a phone call or somebody asks you something or whatever, your mind goes off it. A disciplined reading before you rush it, even if the market's moving, I would suggest to do, just pick one here. Go into the trade, you've worked out the volume calmly, then you say, you know, it's going to, I'm going to say, going to be a buy, you know your volume, set it, go out the SL and TP, then you check it, yes, then you go in the buy, make your volumes correct, bang, buy. Then after then you go to your
mate,
go on.
You know, mate, it's the trade is doing so well, but when I check the fundamentals, everything is negative. I don't know how's that.
No, yeah, that is a problem.
I'm actually in profit, you see, but I'm a bit wary it might go opposite because all the fundamentals are downwards.
I'm afraid you asked the most difficult questions. It happens a lot. It makes no sense. I've come across a lot, Ken. I can't give any more answer. It makes a lot of times makes no sense. You know what I mean? The fundamental is saying one is stronger than the other, yet it's coming off. Why is that? I can only put it, it's just purely guesswork, guys. It's large volumes of the retail trade doing something emotionally because they weren't aware, and that's what happened. It's a bit like a guy playing blackjack. You know how to play blackjack, 21 or over your bust, right? And then they double up on 17 because they don't know the maths, and that can stuff the system up because everyone's going to look strangely. Why did they do it? Oh, I don't know. It seemed like a good idea at the time. But a lot of trades are emotional, like a good idea at the time. Hang on, it looks a bit down this candle. I think I'll sell it. And if you get a few million people trading on that basis, even the fund is as strong in the euro, it'll come off simply because the sellers are pushing it down, even though the clue what they're doing, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot of irrationalism in the market. I think a lot of it because the sheer volumes of amateurs playing around with it, which is quite irritating to professionals because they're working on strategic strategies, you know, a little bit of science, but these guys aren't. I mean, like you ask some guys in trading, why are you blanking? Well, I got this signal, or I saw a bit of red, so I'd sell it. You know, don't actually know for themselves. What are you in the moment? Well, I'm in WTI. Great. Why? Well, because I saw a bit of green now. Okay. By the way, what is WTI? I don't know. Now that's why a lot of people do, and it's a serious amount becoming worldwide on that. On their own, it doesn't matter, but collectively. But yeah, going back to, I just want to mention again, do this way if you like. If you think you want to buy it, doesn't really matter or sell. You've done your calculations, you know your volume is, let's say, 0.05. Say you worked out the buy, you put your volume in, make sure it's correct, make sure it's market execution and not pending order. Check that, check it's a buy, correct, pick the buy. You're in the market now. Now you can relax, you work your stop loss because the market is moving quickly. You can add your SL and TP in afterwards. So you're protected, but you haven't missed because you're busy doing this. Right, especially with practically quicker, but you're starting a bit slow. This is, what's that? Check again, is that 0? Was it 0.04? Oh, no, hang on, check again. No, yes, it is. Oh, should it be? Oh, no, that's correct. What's the stop loss? 1.1 138. Now I know I did that wrong. Was it 1.3? Now let's do it again. You do the same but take profit. By the time you got the trade in, 5 or 6 minutes have passed, and you work the calculations at 140.80, and it's now 141. All the calculations are up the maggots. So rather, before you even pull the new order up, check your calculator, make sure you know your volume, then you pull it up, double click, you know it's a sell, you know your volume, put it in, make sure you click the sell button, then you can faffle around afterwards, putting your stop loss in fee. Okay. Just a little tip there, but as long as you put the damn thing in perspective. And don't forget, you can cap your position. Discussed it many times. If you all know, I won't bore you with it, but some guys don't know how you cap your position. You've got, as in Anna Marie's case, 4 micros, okay? And you want to bank 2 and let the other 2 run, you can do that. You don't have to close the entire trade. You can close part of that trade. I assume you all know how to do that. You should know, and if you don't, it won't take long for me to explain it. Even got not much going on, it's a bit quiet, but if you don't know, worth mentioning, a couple of seconds just to explain to you how to do that. But you need to know. Why close the entire trade when you close part of it? You know what I mean? It's doing well, it's going up, it's getting your resistance. You put your stop up here, it's getting a bit nervy, and you got, let's say, 4 micros, close 2, and it breaks through. You're still on board, move your stop up, maybe close another one, left with 1 micro until eventually move your stop and stop down. So you need to know how to partially close your trade. Anybody not know how to do that? Can't do show you the phone, it's a bit funky on the phone, I can't show you. But on the laptop I can show you if you like. Anybody not know? Nobody answers that question, I assume you do know, then we can move on to something else. But don't ask afterwards, how do you do that? And you have an opportunity in that. And this is an interactive forum, that's how we learn. Nobody's replying to that, so I assume you all know how to do that. Okay. All right. Dollar yen giving us jip. Won't do 100 again. Okay. I think I'm really being polite to the other people, a bit nervous to us. That's pretty nice of you. Okay. Before I do that, yeah, I looked at the dollar for some reason, best known to sell the side a weekend. Okay, so come back down the last hour or so from 103.40ish to 103, just above. That's probably why the yen's coming off. Let it do its thing. It's out of control now. He'll do what he has to do. Okay, difficult to show this. There's a den with no money. It's I can't even defend. I should maybe get some of the loads and money just so I can go in and out to show you. Yeah, I can't unfortunately because I guess maybe we should get someone to put some demo money in so I can just show you by going in and out of trades, not real money. But basically, you've got 3 trades running, and this one happens to be the Euro JPY, for example. Left click on, and you highlight turns blue. All right. What you do then, you see the SL box, leave it alone. TP box, leave it alone. You're not modifying, they're already there. You're closing part position. So anywhere else, use the volume if you like. Just double click on it, and a box will come up, and you'll have a yellow bar say closed, profit or loss or whatever. Obviously, ignore it. But what you do, you go to your volume. Because you know you've got volume of 0.04, so you've got 4 micros, you want to close 2. So you double click on that, box comes up, you put 0.02 in the volume, then you click on the yellow bar. 2 are banked, you've got 2 running. Anybody not, cheers, funny, Fiona. Anybody not see that, understand that? It's important, I'll do it again if you like. We've got quiet time now, there's not many trades out. Did not know that, anybody would like to know that. Because Anna Maria very kindly and politely asked on your behalf, but it's up to you to put your hand up. Oh, you got it now. See, a lot of guys didn't know that. You've all got it now. If you don't, I beg of you, say so. We can control that. We can't control what the Euro JPY is going to do, but we can control that. Anyone still not sure? We can do it again. It doesn't take long. And it's important. 2 minutes you spend on it, 10 seconds asking. It's far better to have it than not have it. This is important. You're absolutely sure you've all got it. Don't call up the broker and say, I don't know how to place a trade. That's platform trading. Worse, I'm in a trade and I don't know how to close it. You shouldn't be in a car driving, you don't know how to stop the car. That's very, very important. I know it's in motion, we do it, but yeah, get a lot of that. How do I close my trade? It's not my job. to teach you how to close your trade. You should know that. But the platform trading guys do that. It's your responsibility to know how to operate the platform. You don't have to be like, I'm certainly not an IT expert in everything. Clinton's very good at that. But as long as you must know how to add to your watch list, how to close, how to open, how to modify stop loss, how to partially close. That you've got to know as well how to check out and what it means, the specifications, and actually know what the heck it means. That you've got to know. No ifs and buts about it. And this you can control.
Roger, question.
Please,
Something else. The FTSE 100, that's the indice for England or Britain.
Yeah, so
or Europe.
London Stock Exchange. It comes from what's called the Financial Times Stock Exchange, but that's a publication, Financial Times. So it's called after that. Basically, it's an index of 100 shares on the London Stock Exchange.
Okay, thanks for the confirmation, because sometimes the FTSE just do not correspond with the rest of the indices. I mean, it's driving me nuts. For example, now it's currently running up again.
Yeah, but I think that's just done. As a FTSE, as a general picture overall. That's why I'm a bit hesitant at the moment for getting a trade out. Let's give the German 30. That was a beaut. That's why the guys who took it hopefully got stopped out at break even or slight profit, because it's doing beautifully. And then the fundies, I think was it Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, yeah, when Powell did his thing, and then the thing just jumped up. That's why you need to know when Powell's speaking who he is, because that can stuff the whole system up, as it did. But yeah, that's running around like the NAS and the Dow. Most of them do follow. It's just aims the moment. It's just a complete lack of direction. As I said before, there's a lot of nerves flying around out there, because the non-farm look good, but it might look good. There's more jobs, so about 3.2% unemployed. And then in America, got rather the enviable area where the guys are looking, but there's not enough people to fill positions in. And you might say, well, there's 10% job vacancies and there's 3% unemployment. How's that? Because there are some people who don't have the skills, or they're unemployable, or they've got tattoos all over their face and they spent 3, 4, 5 years in jail for violent crimes and burglary. It's not easy to take them on. It's not like give them a job. So it's always going to be, and this guy's been on welfare for a couple of generations. They're virtually unemployable, basically. You know the score. Like here, a lot of people here just don't have the skills of any sort to be employed, and that's an issue. But having said that, the borrowing level is so horrendous that they've borrowed more and they're trying to borrow even more. So those conflicting areas are actually playing havoc with the directions of the market at the moment, in a lot of ways. But having said that, we've got trades now. It might be quiet this morning. We might get lucky this afternoon, but we've got a few out. And well, just obviously, yeah, we're doing beautifully. It's come off a bit now, but just give it a bit of time, it might bounce again. And so DCHF last we looked at doing okay. So some of the US shares are doing okay, so maybe we can. But it's just tough. It's tough for me, tough for institutions. Believe me, it's tough for you. You're not doing anything wrong. It's tough at the moment. It's directions, in a nutshell. Okay, Sam, I've already copied and pasted. I'll do it again if you like. The economic calendar. I've copied and pasted it. I'll do it again just so you know. Just quickly do it again. You should all have it. If you haven't, please have it. Just paste it and then I'll answer the question. Right, then you go into it. You can go into the day, you can go into tomorrow, you can go into next week, you can go into the entire week, look at it. And it said on Tuesday, then he was speaking at 20 to 8, so you were 7:40 in the evening, our time. I've configured it to my time. I'm not interested in New York time or bloody Indian time or whatever time. I'm interested in obviously South African time. So they're all on South African, so we don't have any problems there. And it'll say he's speaking. And then you've got to be very, very wary. Lagarde, not so much. In fact, most of the others, not so much. Governor Bailey, not so much. Powell speaks, world markets react on the slightest inflection what he says. So rather the up and down thing. So have it copy and paste what I sent you there, keep it minimized and refer to it. You don't want to suddenly going into buying or selling the dollar and important fundamentals just about to come out. Because it doesn't matter what your technicals say, it'll go through like a knife through butter if it comes. Hope it's not just sound, but everyone's got that. You don't want to suddenly go into a dollar or gold just before Powell speaks. You might get lucky. Anyway, I hope you don't, because then you think, well, I'm a hell of a trade, a quick way to make money. And you didn't know why, you got lucky. Next time you might not be lucky. The last time we had a US dollar yen out, we had a rough time with it, 3 pips and stop loss. And then it shot up and hit the TP. Well done, Roger. No, well done, Bunny Powell. All good. Okay, it's getting near the bewitching hour. I think I've covered more of the basics. I'm sorry, Anna Maria and Fine, you know it, and Harold, whoever's there. But we will be doing each time, you know, how to save your template, put an economic calendar up, DXY up, bits and pieces like that. It doesn't take long. New guys coming in, etc. Like I mentioned there about cutting the position. You think everyone knows it, and you suddenly find no, they don't all know it. You get my point. So yeah, new guy been trained for a while. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so no harm doing it in quiet moments. If the market's moving, we've got a lot of open trades out. We're checking on them, checking on new ones. That takes precedence. If we've got quiet times, I can clarify. But remember, it's not a training area here. That's for the Zoom classes when you buy the knowledge. Stock Market College sells the knowledge. If you need that, do it. But don't say, I don't want to pay money on getting the knowledge. Just come for a free in the trading room. You get more confused than anything else.
Roger, just the last question before we pop off. It seems to me that the FTSE is on an all-time high since 2020 odd. Do you think it's still worthwhile looking at a long on that?
Bloody hell, you're right. It's taken out on the monthly, way back to 2019, in fact. I can't make that call. I'm going to be honest, finally, your guess is as good as mine. I actually don't know at this stage what is happening out there. I personally think the market's incredibly overcooked. I think this is the calm before the storm. I think this is the last bit of a short-term bull run before we get a big, decent pullback. I personally wouldn't chase it either way at the moment.
Because the British market for me is as dark as a cave of 1010. I'm not sure what's cooking there.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, it's just momentum. It's just following the momentum. And a couple of things on that. Momentum's one of them, even though it's bad. A lot of guys are buying in like the cryptos. We've got to about $100,000 something stupid. I don't know. I've done crypto. When people just bid it up because they're saying, "Oh, see some green there, green up there." Fear of missing out, FOMO. They jump in and bid it up. Till reality sets in, the big boys say, "God, this is overcooked. I'm going to sell short, and I'm going to exit." And the exit alone with big money, it pulls it back to the sell order, and then they can add to it by selling it down. Suddenly it comes down. These guys are caught with their trousers down. Lots to do with that. And remember as well, interest rates, I know they've gone up a bit. They're still pretty small worldwide. And that's where are you going to get a return? You're a fund manager, Mr. Murray, right? And people are putting money into your fund. If you bung it on the market, it's better now. But let's say a couple of years ago, it was 0% return. Why would you put the money in there? You're not getting a return. In fact, Germany and Switzerland and Japan were negative. I think Japan's just bordering slightly negative. It is tiny, but negative. So only by putting money with Farney funds, the Farney fund, like that, the Farney fund, where you're getting zero interest on it in cash or whatever. What's the point? So a lot of it flew into the markets to try and get some return. Now, most people on equity you can't sell short, you can only buy. A lot of people in derivatives, straight to their head around the short selling. So they sort of tend to like buy, if you like. I'm talking about shares now. Remember, this is shares, not a forex. And shares make 100, make up that FTSE, the 100 biggest ones. So that's for that kind of momentum. much as you might see a few tech stocks coming off, and the Nasdaq might go up because it's independently tradable. Like the DXY, we don't have it. It's a tradable instrument. A large amount of people buying the Nasdaq, it might actually go up independently, even though maybe the Apple and Googles are coming off, until it rectifies. You might have heard something called arbitrage, where you have slight anomalies in the market, where you get different prices on certain areas around the world. And if you're quick enough, and you can't work with small guys, you have to have big Tom on it. That slight discrepancy they can take advantage of. But those are sort of basics that go into it. Where you're standing, especially the scientific brain, that's more emotional than scientific. You're trying to put rationale into it. A lot of that's a bit of emotion. It might go up a little bit higher. It could get a chance of getting around for the 8,000. I could think 8,000 reached. It's going to have some tremendous good news to push it up further. I think we're going to get a decent pullback. I'm not keen to go in now, but I don't want to miss it when it does come, because it's going to come. I can't say 100%, but I'm over 90% sure we're going to get more than the correction. I think we're going to have a major pullback. Take words like crash, it puts fear of God into people, but I think we're going to get a major pullback. A lot of guys talking about 30% and plus. That's it. Remember, if you're on a derivative, 30% is horrendously big. That's my take anyway. Okay, guys, hope that was an okay-ish answer. Not something you might like, but that's basically what I think is probably where it's at. Okay, fine. Okay, I hope we can cheer you up then, Ken. If you're not looking too happy and a bit frustrated, don't blame me. Happy with the money side, he's more happy with the confusion side. Well, Ken finally joined the club. Okay, it's irrational and emotional. Let's be careful. Okay, guys. Right. Well, hope we get something a bit better this afternoon. Catch you there. I'll get some bloody electricity back on as well. Like that. I'm hungry. I want to eat. I can't. Cheers.
Thank you. Happy birthday, boy.
Cheers.